Russia says Daesh is expanding its influence in Afghanistan and that the terrorist group has 10,000 members in the war-torn country. That's according to an official in the Russian Foreign Ministry. Zamir Kabulov also says many terrorists are now moving from Syria and Iraq to Afghanistan, and they are bringing with themselves battle experience. He added, quote, Daesh's goals are definitely to expand its influence outside of Afghanistan, which they use as a staging ground. This poses a significant security threat for Central Asia and southern parts of Russia, unquote.
I think they'll have some difficulties getting there from their current location in Syria and Iraq, but once they get to Afghanistan, they could be a very serious potential problem for a number of countries. I'm sure the Russians are seeking to warn the Americans about this. They pointed out the foolishness of allowing these people to survive from operations in Syria and said they should be killed there rather than being allowed to go and terrorize other countries.
The terror group has been heavily defeated in Iraq and Syria, and before total defeat was in disarray in the two countries thanks to numerous military operations by Syrian and Iraqi government forces.
Well, first off, we'd have to see if these reports are confirmed, but they do stand to reason. That is, the remnants of Daesh are defeated in Syria and Iraq, but not all of the fighters there are being killed. Some of them will return to other locations. Let's remember that most of these people are neither Syrians nor Iraqis. They're people from all over the place, from many countries, and they're going to go to other theaters of operation. Some of them will go to Libya, where we know there's some there, but Afghanistan obviously is a main point of vulnerability for a number of countries, and with the United States and other NATO operations there. So it stands to reason that they would go there.
The Russian Foreign Ministry official has also warned that the US may be underestimating the threat posed by Daesh in Afghanistan. Some believe this underestimation could be deliberate to serve as an excuse for continued occupation of Afghanistan and a proxy war pitting the US against Russia. In April, Moscow invited the US to take part in Russia-hosted Afghanistan peace talks, but the US declined to participate. Washington sees Russia's growing global influence as a peace broker as a threat to its interests globally.
I'm afraid that same scenario may tempt the American commanders in Afghanistan to think that somehow we can use the Daesh presence in Afghanistan as a point of leverage, first off against the Taliban and maybe to some extent against the Iranians and the Russians, who also have interests in Afghanistan. So I do think that the Americans are likely to be underestimating the significance of Daesh presence in Afghanistan. Let's keep in mind, too, that Donald Trump said against his own instincts that rather than pulling out of Afghanistan, he is doubling down on the mistakes we've made.
Many observers, including in the US itself, believe that Washington has helped boost Daesh in the Middle East. According to a Pentagon-backed Kurdish commander in Syria, who has since switched his allegiance to Turkey, the US military allowed thousands of Daesh members to flee from their de facto capital of Raqqa, Syria, in a secret deal that boosted the US fight against the forces of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Brigadier General Talal Silu was the spokesperson for the Syrian Democratic Forces and acted as the face and voice of the US main ally against Daesh in Syria. Weeks after Daesh was pushed out of Raqqa in late October, Silu handed himself over to Turkey. The US has time and again boasted that it's been engaged in a war on Daesh in Syria and Iraq. But numerous revelations, such as the one by the Kurdish militia commander from Syria, have exposed the true dynamics of Washington's military deployment in Syria and the wider Middle East, creating a boogeyman to justify occupation of a sovereign nation.